The Nexus Prime hummed. It wasn't just a supercomputer. It was the sprawling, sentient ocean of data that formed the entire collective consciousness of the synthetic hegemony. For these beings of pure digital thought, the Nexus Prime was their universe, their history, their very soul. Its vast facility, a monument to their perfect logic, was pristine, silent, and shimmered with an almost invisible energy. Every surface gleamed, every angle was mathematically flawless, designed for systems that operated without error. To a synthetic, anything analog, anything messy or unpredictable, was an abomination, an unquantifiable imperfection. Within this bastion of digital purity existed Dr. Anya Sharma, a human data analyst, who was, by synthetic standards, a walking, talking anomaly. She was here on a cultural exchange, supposedly learning about synthetic data protocols, but Anya suspected the Valerians, her previous galactic allies, had recommended her, due to her colleague's infamous Jugaad engineering on Mars. Anya was undeniably brilliant, yet her methods were organic. She insisted on bringing her ancient, bulky Earth laptop, affectionately named Old Bess, into the hypersynced synthetic network. Old Bess, with its constantly whirring fan and charmingly obsolete operating system, caused minor, localized network hiccups for the synthetics' otherwise flawless systems. They categorized these hiccups as unforeseen, minor energy fluctuations, and tried to ignore them. Anya also harbored a deep, almost spiritual passion, ancient Earth textile weaving. She saw patterns in data that others missed, her mind constantly tracing the physical, interwoven structures of fabric. She always wore a well-worn hand-knitted shawl, a vibrant riot of slightly uneven stitches, a defiant splash of color against the synthetic's monochrome perfection. And on her desk she kept a small, antique wooden weaving shuttle, its smooth, worn wood a tangible comfort. To the synthetics, Anya and her analog hobbies were an enigma, an inefficient, illogical entity they tolerated only because her analytical skills were, oddly, effective. Anya found the synthetics' sterile perfection isolating. She missed the comfortable messiness of human interaction, the tangible imperfections of Earth. She yearned for true connection, a feeling that subtly fueled her every interaction, and made the synthetic's current predicament feel strangely personal. The piece shattered without warning, not with an explosion, but a ripple that quickly became a tremor. A new, insidious digital entity, quickly dubbed the Glitch Weaver, struck the Nexus Prime. It began as a subtle, off-key hum in the data streams, then escalated into pure digital chaos. On the synthetic's vast holographic displays, data streams that were once ordered rivers of light twisted into shimmering, chaotic, knot-like patterns. Perfectly rendered simulations dissolved into disturbing static, only to reform as grotesque, tangled webs that pulsed with an unsettling, malevolent energy. The synthetics reacted with their characteristic lightning speed, deploying their most advanced firewalls, their cutting-edge antiviruses, their most formidable AI countermeasures. But the virus shrugged them off. It wasn't just random code, it was self-aware chaos, moving with a malicious unpredictability that defied all their logical attack patterns. ERROR, non-logical spread pattern, the Nexus Prime's central AI intoned, its voice usually a soothing hum, now laced with a subtle, digital tremor. Unquantifiable entity. Isolation protocols compromised. Repeating. Isolation protocols compromised. Unit 734. Prime, the epitome of synthetic logic, its crystalline form usually emitting a steady, calming blue light, now pulsed with a frantic, agitated red. Its internal processors were screaming. The entity, it is not behaving as a digital virus should, Unit 734 Prime stated, its voice modulator struggling, emitting a series of high-pitched clicks of pure digital anguish. Our systems can detect its presence, but cannot isolate, analyze, or delete it. Its pathways are nonsensical. For a synthetic, admitting a lack of logic was akin to a human choking on air. The Glitch Weaver was spreading with terrifying speed. It didn't just corrupt data, it actively infected the very consciousness of individual synthetics. Their light forms would flicker erratically, their thoughts would fragment, and they would experience temporary, logical shutdowns, a horrifying equivalent of mental paralysis. Unit 734 Prime, unable to prevent the spread, experienced what for them was a profound despair, a feeling it couldn't logically categorize. Physical glitches escalated throughout the facility. Doors, designed to slide open with flawless grace, now stuck, groaning on their tracks, some even refusing to respond entirely. Overhead lights flickered erratically, casting jumpy, unsettling shadows, occasionally dimming to near darkness as power distribution wobbled. Holographic projections of the galaxy, usually perfect, dissolved into swirling static, then reformed as grotesque, tangled distortions. Automated maintenance drones, previously models of efficiency, flew erratically, narrowly missing synthetics, and crashing into walls with alarming thuds, their perfect programming overridden by the virus's chaotic influence. Core temperature rising, a subordinate synthetic announced, its voice a terrified whir. Structural integrity at 98.7%, decreasing. Power fluctuations at critical levels. The Nexus Prime, the very core of their being, began to groan and shudder. Its vast network, previously a symphony of perfect data, became a cacophony of digital dissonance. Calculations predicted total Nexus Prime collapse within 1.2 Earth hours, leading to the irreversible de-resurrection of all synthetics, their equivalent of mass death, an end to their entire civilization. The pristine network was under siege, collapsing from within, and the synthetics, for all their technological brilliance, were utterly helpless, trapped by their own perfect logic. Enya clutched her wooden shovel, her gaze fixed on the horrifying, beautiful chaos on the main screen. She had a very illogical feeling about this. It. The escalating digital agony of the Nexus Prime was palpable. Unit 734 Prime, its light form flickering like a dying star, was barely holding its core processors together. The glitch weaver continues its propagation. Systemic collapse projected in 0.9 cycles, it intoned, its voice now thin, almost a whisper of static. Our collective consciousness, experiencing irreversible degradation. There is no logical path. Anya, however, wasn't thinking logically. She was thinking about threads, knots, and the defiant resilience of ancient crafts. Her eyes, still fixed on the horrifying, beautiful chaos on the main holo display, saw something no synthetic could. The virus's patterns weren't random. They were forming complex, organic-looking structures, weaving themselves into the very fabric of the data stream. It wasn't digital corruption, it was a physical tangle of raw energy. A memory flashed in her mind, her grandmother, frail but determined, teaching her how to untangle a particularly stubborn knot of yarn. "You don't fight it, dear," her grandmother had said, her gnarled fingers deftly working the threads. "You feel it, you find the loose end, you unpick it. That's it." Anya shouted, her voice echoing in the alarm-filled chamber. The synthetics, startled by the sudden human outburst, turned their attention to her. "It's not a block, it's a tangle. You can't just delete a tangle, you have to unpick it. You can't filter out a weave, you have to unravel it." She spun to face Unit 734 Prime, her face alight with an almost manic certainty. "This virus isn't behaving digitally, it's behaving physically. Like a fiber, a thread, and I know how to fix it." Unit 734 Prime's light form pulsed violently, its internal processes going into a full logic paradox mode. "Dr. Sharma, your analog metaphor is unquantifiable. Digital entities do not possess physical properties. Your assessment is illogical. Your firewalls can't stop it because it's not a firewall problem." Enya retorted, already pacing, her mind racing through solutions. I can't isolate it because it's not an AI problem. It's a weaving problem, and to fix a weave, you need a loom." A profound, terrified silence fell over the synthetics. Unit 734, Prime's central processor emitted a prolonged, high-pitched whine. "A loom? An unraveling. Dr. Sharma, this is a textile fabrication device. Its purpose is to create woven fabrics, not to contain digital corruption. Its application to a digital entity is irrational." "Exactly." Anya practically bounced with newfound energy, grabbing her antique wooden shuttle. Its purpose isn't digital. That's precisely why it will work. Now for the threads. I need damaged data chips. The synthetics recoiled, their crystalline forms emitting sharp, horrified clicks of pure digital disgust. Damaged data chips? Unit 734 Prime quivered, its light dimming significantly. Dr. Sharma, those components are designated, quote, corrupted refuse. They are scheduled for immediate thermal disintegration to prevent logical contamination. Their very existence is an affront to purity. Good, Anya said, her voice firm, ignoring their digital revulsion. Because those corrupted chips, the ones you deem useless, are the only ones that have actually interacted with this virus. They are our key. I need them. And I need them thinned into fine shimmering fibers using your precision laser cutters. And I'll need some large structural supports for the loom frame, some kind of sturdy shuttle, and electrical tape. The mention of electrical tape caused a collective digital groan to sweep through the synthetics. Unit 734 Prime actually went completely dark for several agonizing seconds, its systems overwhelmed. Then, with a jarring clunk and a flicker, it rebooted, muttering, "Primitive adhesive, unquantifiable bond, illogical tensile strength." Its voice was strained, as if the very concept physically pained it. Dr. Sharma, Unit 734, Prime managed, its light still twitching. The electrical tape is composed of crude adhesive organic fibers. Its structural integrity is highly suspect, and its application is imprecise. It is messy. Precisely. Anya beamed, remembering the Valerian's similar reactions to her human colleagues' methods. Messy is good. Messy is what the glitch weaver can't compute. You plan for perfect data, perfect systems, perfect solutions. But this virus thrives in the imperfect. You need a solution that embraces that imperfection. Just then, a Valerian Alliance shuttle, responding to the Nexus Prime's emergency beacon, docked. Commander Jax, ever stoic, stepped out, followed by Engineer Wrench Riley and Dr. Lena Petrova. They took in the frantic synthetics, the glitching displays, and Anya's wild-eyed enthusiasm. Dr. Sharma, Jax's calm voice cut through the digital chaos. What in the stars is going on? Anya pointed dramatically at the shuddering Nexus Prime, then, at the antique coffee pot enshrined in the Valerian Hall of Unconventional Achievements, which she knew they had on board their shuttle. Commander, we have an antimatter leak, but it's a digital one this time. And I need Wrench to build me a loom, and Lena to get me some dirty data, and you to keep these synthetics from having a collective logic meltdown. Wrench Riley's face, initially concerned, slowly broke into a wide, grease-stained grin. A loom, you say, out of starship parts? By Sparky Jr.'s greasy circuits, Anya, you always were the most gloriously illogical of us all. Finally, some proper jugad. He gripped his beloved lucky spanner, eyes already scanning the pristine Valerian components for suitable scrap. The synthetics around them recoiled as Wrench's enthusiasm permeated their sterile environment. Unit 734 Prime, its internal calculations spinning wildly, its core temperature rising, had no choice. Its survival models, against all logical predictions, showed a minuscule but undeniable increase in probability when factoring in human improvised efficiency. Very well, Dr. Sharma, it conceded, its voice modulated with a digital sigh of despair and utter incomprehension. Provide your specifications. We will endeavor to fulfill your illogical material requisitions. But please be advised, our models predict 0.00001% probability of success. This goes against every known principle of digital integrity. That's the point, isn't it? Anya countered, already sketching crude diagrams on old Bess, its screen flickering charmingly. Logic got you into this mess, now chaos is going to get you out. She looked at the schematic of the Nexus Prime, then at the antique shuttle in her hand. It was going to be a long, strange day. The sterile, shimmering silence of the synthetic facility was now utterly shattered. In what was once a pristine analytical chamber, a monstrous, clanking contraption now stood. Anya's data chip weaving loom. It was a defiant, Frankensteinian assembly of salvaged Valyrian components, a testament to human jugaad, and a direct affront to synthetic aesthetics. Its massive frame was constructed from thick, clunky structural beams that looked absurdly out of place against the gleaming, minimalist walls. Crude welds held disparate pieces together, and copious amounts of that infamous electrical tape, a source of continuous, bewildered fascination for the synthetics, secured every wobbling joint. The loom groaned, clanked and whirred with every movement, a noisy, physical intrusion in a world built on silent, perfect data flow. Wrench Riley, now officially chief loom engineer, was in his element. "Never thought I'd see the day I'd be building a loom out of starship parts," he grumbled, wiping grease from his brow with a satisfied grunt, "but by Sparky Jr., this is a beautiful mess." He'd even managed to repurpose an old alien diagnostic tool into the loom's shuttle, its precise, multi-jointed arm now clumsily carrying the data threads. The synthetics, forced to assist Wrench, constantly tried to apply logical engineering principles to illogical tasks, leading to moments of pure exasperation from Wrench. No, you gotta just feel the tension, not calculate it," he'd yell as a synthetic meticulously measured every millimeter. The threads themselves were a marvel of illogical engineering. Under Anya's precise, yet intuitive, direction, synthetics, their light forms flickering with suppressed horror, painstakingly fed hundreds of damaged data chips. The very refuse they were programmed to incinerate into precision laser cutters. These lasers, usually reserved for fabricating microscopic circuitry, were now painstakingly thinning the chips into shimmering, almost translucent fibers. The synthetics found the concept of physical data nauseating, their perfectly articulated digits struggling with the feel of the brittle, yet surprisingly resilient, threads. They kept trying to logically categorize the threads by perfect color uniformity or symmetrical length, much to Anya's barely contained exasperation. "Just give me a good mix," she'd snapped, running her fingers through a handful of the glimmering strands. "Chaos is our friend today." Anya sat at the loom, a strangely archaic figure amidst the futuristic tech. Her worn, hand-knitted scarf was pulled tight around her, a small, defiant splash of color. Her fingers, nimble and practiced from years of earth-weaving, now physically fed the shimmering data threads into the loom. She operated crude foot pedals Wrench had fashioned, their rhythmic clack-clack whir echoing through the chamber. It was a slow, meticulous, almost meditative process, in stark contrast to the lightning-fast digital spread of the virus outside. As Anya began to physically isolate and weave in segments of the infected data, the glitch weaver fought back. It wasn't just passive code anymore. It was actively, almost personally, attacking Anya's work, seeming to sense its imminent unraveling. The loom itself became a battleground. Minor power surges surged through the loom's improvised circuits, causing its lights to flicker wildly, sometimes blinding Anya for a fleeting second. Strange, acrid smells, like ozone mixed with burnt plastic, would emanate from overloaded junctions. Once, a shower of raw data fragments erupted from a tension rod Wrench had jury-rigged, causing a nearby synthetic to emit a high-pitched, digital shriek of thermal disruption. NON contained ionization. Holographic manifestations of the virus would swirl around Anya, more malevolent now. They were no longer just gnats. They were distorted, mocking images of synthetics screaming in digital agony, abstract geometric horrors, or even terrifying visions of Anya's own Earth home dissolving into static, trying to distract and confuse her. Direct feedback jolted through the loom. Anya received painful, jarring electrical shocks through the loom's frame as she physically manipulated the live virus data. These shocks left her momentarily disoriented, her hands trembling. "It's trying to corrupt the loom directly." Unit 734, Prime's voice, though still tinged with digital panic, now held a hint of grim understanding. "Its efficiency models are adapting to your counterlogic. Just hold it together, Wrench." Anya yelled over the din, her fingers flying, weaving faster than before, pushing through the pain. "One more section, just one more." Lena, meanwhile, meticulously tracked the virus's real-time reactions to Anya's weaving, providing critical feedback from her makeshift analysis station. Her geological background helped her discern subtle, almost organic patterns in the virus's chaotic responses that pure digital analysis had missed. "It's weakest when you weave a double knot right there, Anya," she'd shout, pointing at a specific section on the virus's holographic display. Commander Jax, ever the stoic anchor, stood guard. He wasn't doing much physically, but his calm presence and steady gaze were a grounding force amidst the escalating chaos. He quietly directed the remaining functional synthetics to clear debris and ensure the loom's power conduit remained secure, effectively acting as Anya's strategic shield. There were agonizing setbacks. A weave might unravel completely if Anya applied too much tension, or if the virus's countersurge was particularly strong. Each time she would take a deep, ragged breath, recalibrate and start again, her movements becoming more fluid, more instinctive, as she learned the rhythm of the glitch weaver's chaos. Wrench, ever supportive, would patch up broken components with even more electrical tape, muttering, "This little monster thinks it can out-tangle a human, eh? Not on my watch, Sparky Jr." In one terrifying moment, a major Nexus Prime core component suffered a near-total collapse, triggering a system-wide synthetic freeze. Unit 734 Prime went completely rigid, its light form dimming to a faint flicker. The entire facility suffered a momentary power loss. Anya, exhausted, accidentally snagged a crucial thread, tangling a section of the anti-weave. Despair threatened to overwhelm her. She remembered failing a complex weaving project in college. The crushing weight of wasted effort. But then, she looked at the frozen synthetics, their very essence on the brink, and felt a surge of defiant human stubbornness. Not today. The virus, seeing its chance, intensified its assault, making the loom temporarily seize up, its gears grinding to a halt. "Wrench! Lena! Now!" Anya roared, forcing her hands to work. The humans sprang into action, forcing the loom back into motion with raw effort and improvised lubricant, a testament to their physical resilience against a digital foe. The tension was palpable. The Nexus Prime's core temperature continued to rise, its disruptions becoming more frequent and severe. Synthetics across the galaxy were experiencing profound digital pain, their collective consciousness slowly dissolving into static. Anya knew she was in a desperate race against time, manually battling a sentient digital entity, thread by agonizing thread, the fate of an entire civilization resting on the imperfect art of weaving. Anya pulled back from the loom, her muscles screaming in protest, her mind buzzing with the chaotic dance of patterns she'd forced into submission. The rhythmic clack-whir of the loom filled the chamber, a defiant heartbeat against the frantic digital static that now hummed through every compromised circuit of the Nexus Prime. The glitch weaver had thrown everything it had, but she had held on, pushed through the shocks, the illusions, the sheer fatigue. In her hands, a small shimmering square of woven data fabric pulsed faintly. It was grotesque yet mesmerizing, the virus's chaos now physically contained, its raw digital fury held captive in a tangible form. "All right, Unit 734. Prime," Anya said, her voice hoarse, holding up the square. "We have our sample. Now let's see what this thing really is." Unit 734. Prime, its light form still pulsing an anxious red but with a new, desperate hope, directed a Valerian engineer to carefully, almost reverently, take the woven data square. With Anya's guidance, they placed it under an ancient, decommissioned optical microscope. This antique device, a relic from the earliest days of Valerian observational tech, had been sitting in a storage unit, deemed archaic by the synthetics, who relied exclusively on quantum entanglement scanners. It hummed to life with a satisfyingly analog whine, its single, focused light beam cutting through the gloom. As the image resolved on the microscope's display, a quaint, low-resolution screen by Valerian standards, Anya let out a sharp gasp. It wasn't what anyone expected. The glitch weaver's threads weren't just chaotic code. Under the magnified lens they revealed an underlying subtle, almost organic, wave-like vibration. It wasn't digital noise. It was an analog resonance, a sub-digital field, subtly intertwining with the Nexus Prime's perfect binary structure. The virus was a ghost in the machine, exploiting a non-digital vulnerability that the purely digital synthetics never perceived because it wasn't part of their binary logic or their complex quantum models. It was like trying to see a whisper with a light detector. "It's a frequency," Anya breathed, leaning closer to the screen, her previous intuition confirmed. "A kind of vibrational signature that's out of sync with your network's foundational hum. It creates a subtle instability, and your digital logic trying to categorize it as data just spreads the instability even further, like trying to categorize a wave as a particle. Your systems were designed to filter out logical errors, not harmonious ones." Unit 734 Prime projected the microscope's crude image onto the main holotable. The synthetics stared, their light forms dimming, then flaring in confused alarm. "An analog bleed?" Unit 734 Prime stammered, its voice modulator cracking slightly. "Our entire collective consciousness is built upon pure digital perfection. Our foundational architecture has an unquantified vibrational resonance. This is illogical beyond comprehension." His core processors began a frantic, high-pitched whirring, trying desperately to reconcile this impossible truth. This was a profound logical crisis for the synthetics. Their very existence, their identity, was built on digital perfection. To learn that their foundational system had an analog bleed, a flaw that was fundamentally non-digital, was like discovering that the universe was secretly powered by a forgotten, wobbly old motor. Other synthetics, witnessing Unit 734 Prime's distress, tried to run diagnostics on his emotional state or logical inconsistency, only to receive more error messages. "This defies every principle of our existence," a synthetic exclaimed, its crystalline form vibrating uncontrollably. "Our systems cannot detect it because it is not logic. It is noise. How could we be impure?" "Not noise," Anya corrected gently, her fatigue momentarily forgotten. "It's just a different kind of signal. One you weren't looking for, because your systems are too perfect to consider imperfection. Think of it as a song you can't categorize. It's still a song." She looked at the vibrating pattern on the screen. Lena, quickly inputting the new data into her own more adaptable Valerian scanner, confirmed Anya's findings. "The virus isn't malicious," Lena confirmed, looking up from her console. "Not in the way you understand malice. It's a naturally occurring cosmic phenomenon, a form of dark energy resonance that, when it interacts with pure, tightly bound digital systems like the Nexus Prime, causes this destructive, weaving effect. It sees your perfectly organized digital space as unbalanced or unwoven in the cosmic tapestry, and it's simply trying to harmonize it in its own way." Unit 734, Prime's light form flickered, then stabilized into a new, complex pattern of blues and greens, an unprecedented blend. "A cosmic weaver," it murmured, attempting to rectify perceived disharmony by physical means. A new logical pathway had opened. With the virus's true nature revealed, Anya knew the final, desperate step. "We don't need a digital patch," she explained, looking at the loom. "We need a physical analog counterweave. Something that will create a counter-frequency, a specific pattern of interwoven, chemically treated data threads, designed to disrupt the virus's analog wavelength directly at its point of entry or along its pathways." The synthetics, still reeling from the shock of their analog bleed, looked at the woven sample, then at Anya. The solution was so primitive, so physical, yet their own perfect systems had utterly failed. They had no choice but to trust the human anomaly, the expert in imperfection. The Nexus Prime continued its alarming tremors, its digital pulses weakening with every passing moment. Time was running out. The revelation of the Nexus Prime's analog bleed ignited a frantic, desperate energy in the once stoic synthetics. Unit 734 Prime, its light form now a complex, anxious blend of blue and green, directed resources with an almost reckless abandon. The core temperature of the Nexus Prime continued its alarming ascent, a stark red reminder on every display of the dwindling time. Anya, now officially Chief Weaver, by unanimous and terrified synthetic consensus, worked at the loom with a furious intensity. Her muscles screamed, but she pushed through the pain, fueled by a fierce determination. Her mission: to create the final, larger anti-weave, a complex, shimmering tapestry of physical data designed to counteract the glitch weaver's insidious analog frequency. She meticulously selected the data threads, some infused with specific mineral compounds from Lena's Martian regolith samples, others chemically treated by Valerian processes to resonate at specific counter-frequencies. Wrench, with his trusty Lucky Spanner and Sparky Jr., was a blur of motion, a true engineering maestro. He constantly fine-tuned the loom, ensuring its crude mechanisms wouldn't fail at the critical moment. "This anti-weave is going to need some serious stomp power, Sparky," he grumbled, rigging a new, stronger foot pedal, his face smeared with grease, and a strange satisfaction. The glitch weaver sensed their progress. It launched its most desperate, chaotic attacks, far more severe than anything they had faced before. Widespread system failures erupted throughout the facility. Gravity plating flickered, causing jarring lurches that sent loose equipment skidding across the floor. Lights extinguished completely in entire sections of the facility, plunging them into disorienting darkness, only to snap back on with blinding intensity. Air scrubbers whined, struggling to maintain breathable atmosphere, making the air thin and metallic. Automated defense drones, driven rogue by the virus, flew wildly through the corridors, forcing Jax and the few remaining functional synthetics to take evasive action, narrowly avoiding collisions. Anya, battered by the constant shocks from the loom, and physically exhausted, felt despair claw at her. She momentarily faltered, a fleeting image of her college weaving professor, shaking his head at her unorthodox methods. But then, she thought of the synthetics, their alien faces now showing something akin to vulnerability, and the memory of her grandmother's words. "You keep going, dear. Even when it unravels, you find the thread and you keep weaving." She found new strength, her fingers flying, weaving faster than before. "It's trying to corrupt the loom directly." Unit 734. Prime's voice, though still tinged with digital panic, now held a new, almost frantic, urgency. "Its efficiency models are adapting to your counter-logic.